With its newly achieved milestone as the world's most populous country, India has become a subject of great interest in terms of its potential to become the future capital of the world economy. Just like the now second most populous country, China, is pushing to become with uncommon strides. At the moment, however, the most common thing between India and China is their respective 1.4 billion plus populations, as India is several ranks behind its Asian neighbors in terms of economic strength. Knowing the bright economic forecast that India will become the second largest economy in the world by 2075, can the country overcome its lingering challenges and transition from being a mere contender to becoming an economic centerpiece on the global stage? We will arrive at that answer as we journey together to explore this topic. Several factors come into play in the consideration of India's economic future. First is its human capital. India's biggest asset is its people, not just the mere population, but its massive number of youths, which make up 40% of the total population. This on its own is an advantage, but it's one thing to have an advantage, and it's another thing to properly utilize it. The youthful workforce is massively underutilized in India, and this is due to several factors, such as illiteracy, lack of high-quality skill and jobs, resulting in a huge unemployment gap. To fully harness India's demographic advantage, strategic investments in education and vocational training must be put in place. Comprehensive skill development programs must be organized. Public-private relationships must be encouraged. And for the traditional aspect, it's important to establish industry-academia collaborations that will successfully bridge the gap between the available talent pool and the requirements of the job market. Other things to do would be to create initiatives that will foster a conducive environment for innovation, thereby promoting entrepreneurship. In addition to human capital, India's economic orientation also plays a key role in its overall economic state. Currently, India imports more than it exports, making it an import-oriented economy. Its biggest economic driver is domestic consumption, thanks to its large population. But with its massive workforce, the itching question is this: won't the country focusing on exports serve its economy better? Of course it will. However, India's manufacturing sector, which lacks massive investments and countrywide spread, is sluggish. Despite improvements in textiles and pharmaceuticals, manufacturing only provides 11.7% of India's total employment. More so, agriculture, which is the major unemployment contributor, mainly serves the country. Furthermore, poor infrastructure, strict business regulations, and stiff competition from Asian neighbors like South Korea, Vietnam, Japan, and particularly China all contribute to the country's low export rate. To balance the import-export equation, it is imperative that the manufacturing sector must be revitalized and targeted for interventions. Here are some ideas for such interventions. India can start by streamlining business regulations, providing incentives for technology adoption, and investing in research and development, which can enhance the sector's competitiveness. Also, strengthening infrastructure, especially transportation and logistics, will help reduce export costs, thereby helping to balance the import-export equation. Government initiatives that promote ease of doing business and international trade partnerships are also good ideas, as they will open new avenues for Indian products on global markets. The next point throws light on one of the most interesting sectors of the country's economy, which holds great promise. But before we get to it, kindly like this video, hit the subscription, and ring the notification bell so you won't miss out on other educational videos from us. Moving on. The information technology subsector of India's economy is one of the recent power drivers of its export services, boasting a vibrant tech culture and poised startups that have caught the world's attention, attracting large IT companies from around the world to invest in its growing digital infrastructure. In terms of startup funding, India now ranks number 2 in the world, behind the USA. The positives in this sector are stressed by the interest shown by tech giants, including Apple, Amazon, and Google. The country's tech sector has also embraced emerging technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, and renewable energy. To achieve great results in this regard, analysts say, is not a matter of the required labor force, but the government's willingness to go all in by investing in the quality training of ITs and creating suitable conditions for tech institutions to thrive. Additionally, Continued investment in research and development, fostering a culture of innovation, and creating a supportive regulatory environment can propel the information technology sector further. Collaboration between educational institutions and industry players will also ensure that the workforce is equipped with the latest skills. Lastly, government-backed initiatives for startups and tech incubators that can nurture the growth of innovative enterprises must be implemented. Another critical issue to highlight is the gender gap evident in India's labor force. India is still struggling to have a balanced inclusion of men and women in its labor force, which, when compared to economic powerhouses like Vietnam, China, the UK, US, and Indonesia, ranks the lowest. Only 20% of Indian women are in the labor force, compared to 70% of men, and the gap widens even more. The major cause of this is attributed to the societal obligation of women as the primary caregivers in the home, which gives them little or no time to be in the working class group. This trend has its ripple effects, as it is impossible for an economy to achieve its full potential if half of its population is not included in various levels of decision-making and socio-economic landscape. India's GDP growth could potentially increase by 27% if women workforce participation can be increased to match the men's. And here are some ways to achieve that. Closing the gender gap in the workforce involves addressing societal norms and providing a supportive framework for the female gender. Implementing policies that promote work-life balance, offering flexible work arrangements, and creating awareness about gender equality can encourage more women to participate in the labor force. Additionally, initiatives to eliminate gender-based discrimination in hiring practices and career progression must be put in place to ensure a level playing field. The case is similar in terms of education. 71.5% of women, compared to 84.4% of men in the 15 to 49 years age group, are illiterate. 23% of girls drop out of school upon reaching puberty due to inadequate sanitation facilities and educational institutions. So, how do we address this? Firstly, it must be established that transforming India into a knowledgeable economy requires a holistic approach to education. Investing in quality primary and secondary education, enhancing vocational training programs, and promoting research in higher education institutions will contribute to a skilled and knowledgeable workforce. Furthermore, addressing issues like inadequate sanitation facilities in schools can reduce dropout rates, ensuring that every individual, irrespective of gender, has access to quality education. It is worthy to note that India is the 5th largest economy in the world and is expected to be number 3 in 2030, only behind the US and China. According to Goldman Sachs, India will become the world's largest economy after China in 2075, with its main drivers predicted to be manufacturing, services, and infrastructure. All these hang on the country's efforts at increasing the labor force by leveraging its burgeoning population. Another point to consider is India's infrastructure bottlenecks. India faces substantial challenges in its infrastructure development, which serves as a hindrance to its overall economic progress. Some of these challenges include inadequate transportation systems, power shortages, and insufficient urban planning that can impede industrial growth. Addressing these issues is vital if India must attain the level where it can be regarded as the future capital of the world economy. A comprehensive approach, including increased investment in infrastructure projects, a streamlined approval process, and leveraging public-private partnerships to enhance the efficiency and capacity of key infrastructure components. Moving forward, as India strives for economic growth, its environmental sustainability status becomes a critical concern. Rapid industrialization and urbanization have contributed to high levels of pollution, deforestation, and resource depletion in the country. To combat this, it is imperative that green technologies must be adopted. Additionally, enforcement of stringent environmental regulations and promoting sustainable practices in industries will help to strike a balance between economic development and environmental preservation. Investment in renewable energy sources and sustainable agriculture practices are also pivotal for a greener and more sustainable future. There is also the problem of the digital divide. While India boasts a thriving IT sector, a significant portion of its population still lacks access to digital technologies. Bridging the digital divide requires expanding internet connectivity, especially in rural areas, and ensuring affordable access to digital devices.
We are using technology to impart scale and speed to development.
Government initiatives that promote digital literacy, combined with private sector partnerships, can empower more individuals to participate in the digital economy, which will then foster inclusivity and unlock new economic opportunities. In conclusion, India has great potential for becoming the next economic capital of the world. But that is a quest that requires impactful turnarounds, key implementations, and strategic investments across the board. The growing youth population should become India's greatest weapon, furnished with high-quality skills and education that are fully utilized. We've also seen that gender equality in India's workforce would not just be an act of social justice, but an economic instrument that can unlock the full potential of its human capital. Will India live up to its projection as a future economic capital of the world? Will the country be able to navigate through its challenges and harness its latent opportunities and resources? Do well to let us know your answer in the comments below. Love the journey? Yes? Then kindly like this video and also share it with your friends. Also, do well to hit the subscription button and ring the notification bell to be the first to receive more insightful videos from us. We will see you again.